This is Konnect Radio, and it's been a while since we had Steve on because it's been not necessarily the season of goodwill, it's been a season of bad health at the moment and a season of all sorts going on, hasn't it?
It has, mate, yeah. Walking through hell last week, I think is how I'd describe my
Quite
state.
literally. Yeah. So, for anybody who's had norovirus, you'll know exactly how that feels. It took down the whole Cottrell household about 6 months ago, and it's just awful. And you happily shared it with the whole of the congregation on Sunday, so that I'm only joking, so. But it's just those things, isn't it, where when you're feeling sick and when you're feeling like that, you can't concentrate, you can't sleep, you can't do anything. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Back now, though.
Absolutely.
In the all clear.
All cylinders.
Thank goodness for that. But the microphones will be bleached after this performance. So, let's just do a recap on where we left things, what we think is 4 weeks ago.
Remember that we've been looking at 3 tough words and how in life in general relationships have the potential to go wrong, and so we're just picking up that series today. And you'll remember, Gareth, that we've seen that from minor disagreements to major fallouts that relationships with others do go south on occasions, and we've considered a series of steps to take the relationship from ill health to good health, to head towards restoration and reconciliation, each summarising 3 short but challenging words, and they were: I was wrong, I am sorry, please forgive me. All words that can be helpful if your actions are the ones that have caused the rupture in the relationship. But what if you're the one who's been wronged? What if you're the one who's hearing these words? What if you're the one who's been hurt by the actions of another? The 3 words that can lead from rupture to restoration and release are: I forgive you. Isn't it the case that when someone wrongs us, the most instinctive thing to our mind is to hold on to our sense of grievance? How could they say that? How could they do that? Don't they know the hurt they've caused? It's human nature to push people away in that situation, to kind of write them out of our lives if the offence is big enough. And the notion of forgiveness, of choosing not to hold someone's wrongs against them, is a foreign one. To make a deliberate choice to release someone from my feelings of resentment or my feelings of vengeance, and to forego my right to stay feeling wronged, doesn't come easily, it doesn't come naturally, it can be costly, and it can be painful. So an obvious question we need to ask ourselves is, why bother? We bother because it's actually good for us as the ones doing the forgiving. Psychologists recognise this. One expert described unforgiveness as like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. As well as the personal benefits, though, we forgive because it's the right thing to do. God's instruction is that we forgive one another as He, God Himself, has forgiven us. When we realise how much we've been forgiven and the choice that God made and the steps that He took to forgive us, our extension of forgiveness to others can take on a new light. Have you ever been in that slightly awkward moment where someone comes and says sorry for something they've done? We often don't know what to do in the moment, so we almost instinctively say 3 unhelpful words. Oh, it's all right, or it doesn't matter. Forgiveness isn't a rebranding of what was wrong and hurtful, possibly even harmful to you, as all right. It's not that. It's a recognition that it's not all right, but that you're willing to choose not to hold on. And it can take a while to be ready to forgive, particularly if the hurt caused has been sizable. What if someone apologises and you're not ready to forgive? Well, simply thank them for the apology and move on, committed in your own heart to working on things. Is that clunky? Sure it is. Does that feel a bit awkward? Quite probably. But it's the best way. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong." Forgiving others for their wrongs and the harm they've caused isn't a weak, victim-like thing to do. It's a brave decision that will require courage and tenacity. To forgive someone is to be vulnerable. It risks being wounded again. But isn't that the beautiful danger of relationships? So if you've been wronged and have maybe even uttered the words in your own heart, "I'll never forgive them," let me ask you to pause and to consider that for your sake and for theirs, it would be best if you did. Maybe today you can begin to do the hard yards in getting your own heart ready, so that when you hear the words, "I am sorry," your response can be, "I forgive you." Be blessed.
Thank you very much, Steve. A lot to think about there. And Steve will be back again next week. Hopefully.
I will indeed.